Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Elk Grove Unified School District Virtual College Fair and Panel. We have an awesome lineup of panels for you this evening and an awesome college fair following the panel. But before I turn it over to our panelists, I have a couple of housekeeping items for you this evening. Number one, this is a webinar, so your camera and your microphone are off, so our panelist is not going to be able to see or hear you. But we know that you might have some questions, and so feel free to use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen to type your question so that we can answer that later this afternoon. Also, this is a really fun way to learn about the college search process and to learn about different colleges. So following this panel presentation, there's also going to be more sessions, so 2 more hours. So I hope that you'll sign up for additional sessions. This session, as well as all the programs that are happening this evening, are being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/elk-grove. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our panelists. Tonight, you're going to hear about resources for first-year college students. Demetrius, take it away whenever you're ready.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Courtney. I really appreciate this. Everyone listening in, I know it's a really interesting time right now. We're dealing with almost 2 years of a pandemic. We're virtual learning. We're trying to figure out what school we're going to go to. We're going to apply. We want to hear about this school. Is this major impacted? We've got so many things to download as a unit, as a collective village, and getting our scholars off to college. And I'll tell you right now, the fact that you're here puts you way ahead of the curve. And today we're going to departure a little bit from the entire community, the entire college perspective, far as admissions, because we're going to have more time to talk about that. But this session is more geared towards those who are interested in learning about, like, what does it take? What are the things that are going to help me, not only before I get into campus, but when I get to that campus. And if Cal Poly is your first choice major, that's awesome. Or your first choice school, and you have some first and second choice majors you're interested in, love to talk with you about that. And we'll have some general info that we'll be talking about later. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and dive in and share my screen. Give me 1 second here. Where are we at? It's like a DJ magic. Got all these screens here, so bear with me. Here we go. And of course it wants to, oh, that's why, okay. Okay, so can we see, oh gosh, we're not seeing that. Bear with the young timer here. All right, there we go. So it's not going full screen. Okay, there it is. All right, awesome. So I wanted to introduce myself formally and kind of give you a little bit where we're starting from and then where we're going to go. I'm going to start off with kind of sharing with who I am and kind of giving you a little bit, peeling the curtain back a little bit, so that way students, scholars listening in can understand where we're going to drop anchor and where we're going to launch off from. Okay. Well, first off, my name is Demetrius Chapman. I am the Regional Admissions Manager with Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I am a community ambassador, and I really like to pour into students and help students navigate their particular pathways, whether it's Cal Poly or whether it's another CSU. I'm ultimately that ambassador for education. As you can see, there's some photos on the screen, but I'm also a doctoral student at UC Davis. And so I kind of come from the lens of bringing value for our students, our parents, our families, and just an extension of our counselors. I work with your counselors within the district, and I really appreciate all of our folks behind the scenes that are making things happen. And just to kind of give you a little bit about me, and there's some pictures there, and so I put some cool things together. One, I love the beach. There's a picture of my wife and I, Sydney, at an event, and then there's like an avocado toast there. I love food. Me and my wife have fun in the kitchen and trying new healthy options. And then you see like a little Raider versus Niners there. We're a sports family. I used to work in the NFL for the Raiders. My wife used to dance and perform and cheer with the 49ers, Gold Rush, as well as the Charger girls. So we have a sports family. We're all about uplifting the community and building onto our emerging leaders. And so let's launch off today. We're really looking at, from a first starting point, is the self-discovery. And this real life skills here is some of the components I like to share with students as they figure out where it is, not only what they're going to study in, because at Cal Poly, you start in your major. And we have this philosophy of learn by doing, where you go into your major your freshman year. So if you didn't know that already, now you do. You jump into Cal Poly in your major. And why is it important to go across this journey towards self-discovery and understanding who I am? Well, part of that is you're going to be spending a lot of your time learning. A lot of people who say they don't want to go to school, or they don't want to go to college, or they, whatever that might be. I understand, but you're going to be learning for the rest of your life. So you might as well embrace it and first start off with you, the most important person in this world, you.com, you incorporation. You need to start there. And so in this journey, I would like to take a moment and encourage my scholars and those who are listening in. I see we have about, we've got attendees here in the background. And so what I would like you to do, we're going to take 2 minutes, and I want you to grab a piece of paper. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to grab a piece of paper or grab a note. Okay. And the first thing I want you to do is to write, I am. Okay. I am. That's the first thing you're going to write. The second thing you're going to write is I enjoy. I enjoy. The third thing you're going to write is I am best at. So I am, I enjoy, and I am best at. So what I would like you to do is take a moment. I'm literally want you to take a moment, and I'll put it in the chat as well for you, and just in case. I am, I enjoy, I believe, I'm sorry, not I believe, I am best at. And we're going to fill in that blank for yourself. So you're going to take these 3 questions, and we're going to take literally 2 minutes on the clock and actually step into these 3 questions, or these 3 statements, affirmations. So I am, I enjoy, and I am best at. So we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock. I'll try to get some music going, and let's do it, friends. I am, I enjoy, I am best at. Let's take 2 minutes. I enjoy, I am best at. And for those of you who are participating in this, maybe what you enjoy, you're not that good at, or maybe what you're really good at, you do not enjoy. So thanks for participating in that, friends. This is more of an internal piece for you to actually see how you can start thinking about these self-discovery questions and who you are and how this is going to align to your future. So I'm going to go to the next slide here. So Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The mind once stretched by a new idea never returns to its original dimensions." And so when we think about that, when we think and connect that to who we are, what we enjoy, and what we are best at, there's a process that happens for us. And it's like learning the tooth fairy, right? Like if someone told you the tooth fairy wasn't real, at some point you realized there was a paradigm shift. There was an elevation in your mind, and wow, that doesn't even exist. And so as you discover who you are and what you're best at, your mind is going to continue to be stretched and continue to grow. And it may not return to the state it was before. Just like when you're learning about college, that's when you're learning about things that you like and don't like. Remember earlier when I said you're going to be learning for the rest of your life? Here's a quote by Albert Einstein. He said, "Education is not the learning of facts, but the training the mind to think." And that's what we're doing here with the real life skills segment of this conversation. It's really thinking about what you're thinking about, metacognition. And in summary, what metacognition is thinking about what you're thinking about. So like I said, the fact that you're here today actually thinking about your major, your pathways, this college and career fair that's happening right now virtually, what does that look like for me at a potential university? What does that look like for my skill set, right? I'm a part of this club, I'm a part of this organizations, I do this sports. Is where I'm going giving me the return on investment, the value of my tuition? I'm paying, right? You're paying, you're investing this money. So don't think about these big time investors who drop millions of dollars. Think about you. You are that investor. Now, you may not be dropping millions, but I mean, you could be earning millions in the future. So you have to think about, well, what does that look like for my ROI? Okay. And some of you, my business folks listening in, what does ROI mean? Return on investment. So we have to think about everything we do from a perspective of, well, what is the return on investment? Next slide. And there's some phases of life that we have to understand that help shape and make us who we are. Because when we understand those phases of life, they give us a perspective when we're going forward, when we're participating in student organizations, when we're joining campuses and looking at the different programs, whether it's mentor programs, whether it's ambassador programs. Like at Cal Poly, we have so many students who are really excited to be something we call poly reps, P-O-L-Y, poly reps. And our poly reps are like our campus ambassadors. And so you have to look within to see, okay, where do I fit in this machine of an institution? Some of you may not have Cal Poly as your first choice school. You might have a school that's out of state that has 60,000 students. How do I separate myself? Am I a student ID number with a barcode on the back of my neck? Or am I actually here looking at how I can make an impact? And so bringing it back to the 3 phases of life, let's start with the first phase. You're made, right? You have no choice in what your height is going to be, or what your skin color is going to be, or all the other demographics and boxes we get put in. Then the second phase, you're taught, right? This is where your environment kicks in. This is where your family and your exposure to different ideas. Maybe you've traveled, maybe you didn't travel. Maybe you were raised by a different person in your family. Maybe you had a 2-parent home. Maybe you didn't. And so understanding all the things that you were taught through those experiences are really what makes us who we are. And the third phase is choice. That's where you decide. That's where you, being here right now, you decide about your high value purpose, about what mark you want to leave in the world, where your community footprint is going to be, how your legacy is left behind for your family, your brothers and sisters, your siblings, etc. Okay, so that just anchored us in a couple of different things I wanted us to think about. We did the activity where the I am, I enjoy, and I am best at. And like I said, these things could be connected, right? Where you were born, what you were taught, and what you chose can influence what you enjoy and what you're best at. And so where I look at it as an opportunity to really interconnect and interlock our high value purpose with the things that make us who we are, because we all have some sort of a gift, whether it's art, whether it's math, whether it's performance, whether it's putting together business plans, whether it's bringing people together, right? Maybe we have a gift that we haven't really pulled out of ourselves yet as it relates to our major, as it relates to what we want to study. So this is just a really entry level launching point of real life skills. And I'm going to stop us right there because I think that's enough for us to digest when it comes to real life skills. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a call to action. If some of this you've never thought about, or maybe you're a parent, maybe you're a counselor listening in and you're like, wow, I haven't got my kid to think about these things, or I haven't thought about these things for myself. You can message me at some point and we can talk about some of the other things that we'll be doing throughout the fall and in the spring when it comes to real life skills. And maybe you're so excited about some of the things that I'm saying that these are things that you've already thought about. Maybe you want to become a facilitator. Maybe you want to get certified in real life skills. You can definitely do that. And I'll put my information in the chat so we can connect again. So what I'll do right now is actually stop sharing. And I'm going to put some fire Zoom links. And I call them fire Zoom links because these are the gold mines that I tell my scholars and I tell all of my community ambassadors to share with students. So in the chat here, you'll see my name, my email, and my contact information. The first thing I want to do is open up my browser here. And let me open up a new link and I'm going to share. And I know sometimes with the Zoom webinar, I don't get feedback. So you might have some questions, you might have some things. So I will stop for a moment and let folks chime in and ask any questions if there's anything that's coming top of mind in the chat. Okay. So I'm not seeing anything in the chat. So it looks like it's safe to move forward. The next thing I'm going to show you is actually one of the biggest things that I see students not doing, parents as well. Like, oh, I want to do computer science, or I want to do architecture, or I want to do psychology or political science. And students spew out all of these different ideas about majors and things they're thinking about, but they don't really research and look at the flow charts that are required for those particular majors. They don't go and look around the corner like, well, what is this major going to look like for me? So the first thing let me do is share the screen again. Sorry, I got multiple screens open here. My wife gets on me. She tells me she got too many tabs open. So here we go. So for something at Cal Poly, or any school for that matter, if you have a major that you're interested in, you want to go and look at their degree flow chart. You're going to want to look at all of the courses that are required and the curriculum required for that particular major. And so at Cal Poly, we have it spelled out for you right here, and you can choose a major. And let's do something in CLA. Let's do communication, or let's do art and design. And then let's do concentration in graphic design, okay? Because I know there's a lot of students interested in this major. So now we'll do a flow chart. And I saw a question. I can't see the message the presenter talked about in the chat. Okay, so let me see here. Thanks for—
You accidentally sent it just to the panelists and not everyone. So if you change that drop down to everyone, it should go to everyone.
Got it. There we go. There we go. So there's the file links with the email and phone number, as well as some of the other things I'll be talking about shortly. So for some reason, this is not loading here. All right, so my screen seems to be having some issues. It's not loading my flow charts here. Let's go back and try another major. So let's do child development, because I know a lot of students are interested in being teachers or working with students. Then we'll do flow chart, and hopefully it works. Having some slow internet issues here. Okay, here we go. It's loading, just slow. All right, awesome. And let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what we're talking about. So as you see, there's 4 quadrants on the screen here. You have freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Now, this is not going to apply for every single major, but this is specifically for those who are interested in the Bachelor of Science in Child Development. Okay, and so this is the recommended flow chart. Now, you could customize this and where you would work with an advisor once you're admitted to Cal Poly. But as I mentioned earlier, this is something you should do for any school you're applying to. Any school you're going to pack up your stuff and go move to and spend 4 years, 5 years investing your money into their education, you should go and look at, well, what am I going to be studying? So let's take a look at this. At Cal Poly, we are on the quarter system. So there's 3 years, 3 quarters in a year: fall, winter, and spring. So as I mentioned at Cal Poly, you're going to start in your major. You see fall, you're going to be starting right into your child development major here, CD 102. And then that'll be weaved in with some of your GE, general psychology, and some of your English and oral communication classes. And then you see there's also a free elective, so you get to choose a course. Now, not all majors has that flexibility where you're able to choose those electives. So if you really like being on a structured, militant structure of a major, then you want to make sure that your courses are laid out for you. If you're someone like me, when I did my undergraduate, I really liked having the ability to take different courses in different disciplines, or maybe picking up a minor. And some of you may even be interested in double majoring. And one of the questions we get from students all the time is, well, can I double major at Cal Poly since I have to apply for the major? So what we tell you is, number one, get in the school first, right? We only admit around 30% of our applicants. Last year, we had nearly 60,000 applicants, around 55,000 applicants. And I would say 30%, give or take, depending on what the major is. Some majors are a little bit lower, maybe closer to 28%. And then some majors might be a little over 30%. But overall, from all of our applicants, we have about a 30% admission rate. But we'll talk about that more in our info session that we have. But the most important thing is understanding what are you going to be taking these next 4 years? What's happening my sophomore year? Am I going to be having internships? Am I going to be having externships, project-based learning, hands-on? Those are the things that you really want to focus on when you put yourself in any institution, is what type of things am I going to immediately walk away from this school with? And by the way, Cal Poly, almost 77% of our students have jobs before they graduate. So that's the key of why I'm showing you this, is you don't want to just be taking classes that aren't relevant to the trajectory that you're on. Remember earlier we did the IM, right? That's super important. That is super important, okay? So now let's jump back. Maybe I'm talking a little bit fast. Maybe there's a lot of stuff coming at you. Maybe you're juggling some things this afternoon because it's the end of day and you got your graham cracker on, you got your InstaFace and all that good stuff that you young folks like to do. But most important thing to walk away from in this session is, number one, understand where are you at, okay? If I was trying to get to your house right now, I would need some GPS directions. But if I don't have a starting point, I'm not going to know what turn. Am I going 5 north? Am I going 5 south? Am I going, am I turning right onto your street? Am I going left? Is it a cul-de-sac, right? So you have to understand where you fall on that GPS location. What is your GPS location? Because it'll be a lot harder to navigate that location if you don't have a starting point. And so one of the things here that I'll share in switching gears is all of these resources that are out here for you. This on your screen is our Cal Poly YouTube admissions page. And we have all of these awesome playlists. These playlists are not just for prospective students. This is for current students. This is for students who wanted to visit the campus. So let's say you apply to Cal Poly this fall and you get in, or you're thinking about what school in the CS you want to go to, and maybe over winter break or over the spring, you want to come and visit. This is where you can get a lot of the preliminary information. But most important right now is all of you who are applying under the Cal State Apply. So we have this entire playlist. It is super robust. Our entire admissions counselors and our strategic enrollment management come together to put these YouTube videos for you. So when you're creating your account and applying on October 1, you're all set and you're good to go. So use this as another gold mine. I put it in the chat, okay? And so here it is right here. High school coursework, which you guys don't have to worry about because you have the CCGI and all of your information should be pre-populated by your partnership with the CCGI guidance initiative, to where your data is automatically populated through the application. But see, you'll maybe have additional other questions about well, you know, what about test scores, or what about EOP? Maybe I'm a first generation or underrepresented student and I'm interested in going to Cal Poly, but how am I going to pay for it? My parents aren't rich, or I don't have these resources, or, $30,000, $40,000, $100,000. How am I going to afford class? How am I going to afford school? Where am I going to live at? Right? All of these questions. Don't worry, friends. There's tons of resources that are out here. I'm here to talk with you, but I'm also going to point you to students. We're going to point you to the resources online. I get students who aren't even going to Cal Poly. They call me and they say, hey, Mr. Chapman, Cal Poly is not my first choice school. I got into, Earth University, or I got into the Pacific Ocean University, or whatever it might be. I'm here to talk you through what those options are and really what the return on investment is. And so families, students, and counselors always reach out to me to kind of look at that process. And then most importantly, it's really going to be up to you. You're going to be at the driving seat of your future. You have to drive your high value purpose, what that is for you and your legacy. And so I'll take a moment, let it digest in, and just kind of look at the chat, see if there's any questions in the chat, anything so far that's coming up that's top of mind. But most importantly, this YouTube resource is heaven sent. This is heaven sent. So utilize this as you're going through the application process. And the videos are only 2 minutes, 1 minute. Some of them are a little bit longer, but these are really short videos, and we've broken it down into a catalog of 31 different videos. All right. Excellent. So here we go into our next thing I wanted to share with you. This is another resource for students who are getting into school, but also maybe in the preliminary stages as well. This says emerging markets. The future is emerging. Find your place in it. This is put together by our Cal Poly Career Services. And our career services is the ones that they're putting out all of the data, all of the information, all of the report, where students are going after college. Are they going to grad school? Are they getting into medical school? All of these different things. That information comes through our career services. And whatever school you go to, if their career services is not robust, you might want to think about, is this a really good school for me? Maybe it's happening within the department, because I know there's some schools that might have an awesome business department, and students that come out of that business department have jobs lined up, or they have mentorship lined up, or they have business plans lined up. But overall, just my opinion, friends, do your own research, but just my opinion, find a school that has a really robust career services page. Okay. And one of the things that you'll see here, I shared in the chat with the emerging markets here, and I know some of you may have come in late, so let me just share it again. The link, what it does is it shows you the latest up and coming emerging markets. Okay. And what is an emerging market? These are the up and coming fields and industries and sectors that are really thriving, that open opportunities are happening. The things that our career services see that, hey, this is the cutting edge. And I tell you this selfishly, friends, I'm telling you about these emerging markets because someday I'm going to be an old fart with gray hair, and I'm going to be looking for a job, and I'm going to find all of you smart young individuals that are going to be applying to our schools. And I'm going to say, hey, you remember the guy that told you about emerging markets? Hook me up with a job. I'm old. Put me at a desk somewhere and I'll do data entry for you for $1 million a year, right? So let's look at one of these. Let's say, okay, let's go our sharing economy, because we all use apps, right? We all use apps of some sort, whether it's on a computer or on a cell phone. Computer's going super slow today. Xfinity is not being Xfinity. So this is what this does. The sharing economy opens up this portal and it gives you different things that are happening. So discover what's new in this job market. So it gives you some points that you can tie into. The sharing economy is an economic model often defined as peer-to-peer based activity of acquiring, providing, or sharing access to goods and services. So you know this as Uber, Uber Eats, TaskRabbit, all these different apps that are out there, people are working. You know, a lot of different food sharing and mobile and transport. Bird, you probably rode the little birds in downtown Sacramento, right? So this shows you some videos of what the future of the sharing economy is, but it also shows articles, how tech is transforming the concept of ownership. Or maybe how in Portland, a scooter startup played nice, regulators took note, right? The scooters had to create an interrelationship with the city. And so those things are really important things as you're building businesses and working in communities. The other thing here you see is engage with Cal Poly Connections. This is one of the best things to take a look at for any of the emerging markets. It's going to give you the LinkedIn connections. It's going to share with you, these are people who might be connected to Cal Poly, or they might be alumni, right? We have people from Home Share Slow, or we have people from the planning of the city of Portland, and people from Uber. So these are people who are connected to the Cal Poly Connections tab. Then the last thing that I'll say is here, we got clubs, we've got local connections, and our Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So you see, like I said, each portal, when you explore the emerging markets, it allows you to see all of those different areas to discover. And we have several. Now, the featured ones are the latest. They're called latest. And you have the 6 featured ones, as you see on the screen here. Then you have the previously highlighted ones that were from previous years or previous semester, previous quarters. Still with me, friends? All right. So I will stop sharing for a moment, and I want to take a break because we're getting close to the end here. I know we have a few minutes, and I want to open it up for questions. And I know that there's the Q&A function. You can't really unmute yourself, but you can ask a question in the chat, and I will do my best to answer it out loud. But at the end of the day, we have so much resources online, and there's this website. I invented it. It's called Google. No, I didn't invent it, but yes, it is a resource for you. And so if you type in Cal Poly Child Development, or you type in Cal Poly Emerging Markets, that's going to give you a lot of the resources and links that are available for you. Ultimately, I want to take a step back and say, ask your questions. There's no dumb questions. Any question you ask, another student may actually be asking about that question. They may be sitting there waiting for you to actually ask that as well, and they're shy or they're nervous. So ask away in the chat, and I'll be happy to give you a moment to think about that question. But I know we have 5 minutes before we close. I'm so excited to connect with you scholars in our next session. I'll be presenting in the various groups. So go on to your link through the Strive scan and select my room. And I'll be showing some videos and talking about some different things with Cal Poly, even throughout this session and even throughout the rest of this fall. So thank you again, friends. Demetrius Chapman, Regional Admissions Manager, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Remember what we talked about. We want to discover who I am, what do I enjoy, and what am I best at? And remember, friends, what you're best at, you might not enjoy, but what you are best at might make you a lot of money. And what you enjoy might just be a hobby of yours. So what you want to do is try to look at where can you find a balance. Maybe you enjoy traveling. Maybe you enjoy family time. Maybe you enjoy being working with students like me. So find that passion, find your high value purpose, and bring it to the marketplace and to your community. All right, friends, Take care. Good luck. And I'll be here in the background answering questions if I get some that come in. Oh, you know what? I forgot one other link. This is the secret sauce link for you guys are still listening. Are people still there? Somebody put a question, give me a thumbs up in the Q&A just to let me know you're still there. Someone give me a thumbs up. All right, thanks, Jacob. Appreciate that. Here's the fire sauce. So this last link here, it's Calendly. So the Calendly says Cal Poly recruitment. So if you want to actually connect one-to-one with the actual current Cal Poly student, you want to use that Calendly link. So over the next course of the couple of months here, utilize that link that I put in the chat, and it will allow you to actually register and set an appointment with a current Cal Poly student. And let me pull it up just so you can see it for those who are watching the recording. And I will do it right here. Calendly, share screen. Let's go. Here we go. So here it is right here, right on the screen, friends. High school student meeting, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Maybe you're a transfer. Maybe you're thinking about going to one of the Los Rios schools, CRC, Sac City, ARC, Folsom Lake, etc. We're here for you. So we've got tons of resources, the YouTube admissions page. We've got the real life skills if you wanted to connect with me more about that. Then we also have the flow chart. Remember, whatever school you're going to, go and look at their flow chart. Go and look at their career services. Are their career services providing value for you, for your future, for your high value purpose? And then talk to some current students. Talk to students who are actually doing it, and then go talk to an old timer, a veteran who's actually been in the field. So you have a contrast of, okay, here's what's happening right now, and then here's what's been happening in the past of this, and then what's going to be happening in the future. So you want to look at the past, present, and the future of the field you're looking to go into. So you want to talk to somebody who's new, and then talk to somebody who's been doing that field for a long time, and then insert yourself and say, hey, you know what? This fits where I am. This fits where I want to go. This fits where my high value purpose. All right. Excellent. So looking forward to connecting with you more. Thanks, Ms. Brown. I appreciate all the work you have been doing behind the scenes. I know it's a lot putting this virtual fair together and doing the in-person. Also, Jackie, shout out to Jackie, who's really been a really strong asset for you scholars that are, really trying to get into college. You've got some really strong advocates who are helping you out behind the scenes that are making sure you guys are dialed in for a success and a significant future. Cheers. Talk to you soon. Bye, friends.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for joining our program this evening. As you close out, there'll be a quick 5-question survey, and we hope that you'll provide us with some feedback. As the panelists mentioned, there is more sessions. So if you want to hear about some colleges and universities, stick around and sign up for, there's 2 more hours of college presentations. This was being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/elk-grove. Thanks so much and good luck in your search process. Bye-bye.